reduce the milk only for Daddy. I'm just kidding. Saving those for my Oreos.
Garuk is sleeping, run away, run away. He wants to hunt some walkers. First he needs some breakfast. Big ding dong, big dong.
Oh, when you started singing it and it was Garuk, I was like, oh man, he better have something with a ding dong in there. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect, Lowery. That was weird. We have our a song we haven't
First
had
song in a while.
Yeah. Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
This is episode 127. It feels like a long time. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks because we double casted.
Seen or heard? Heard.
Well, seen. I'm looking at you right now.
I never look at the video.
I minimize you so I can see your pretty face while we talk. So it's like you're here.
This is why we can't do YouTube, because I'll never look at the camera.
Yeah, you'll just be looking everywhere
else.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, and then you'd have to wear a shirt. So, well, you wouldn't have to.
Sounds like a challenge.
So yeah, what do we got for today? We have a couple of things. Well, I did finally make a deck. Woo!
What? Yeah. Okay. So your last deck that you built was Perforos?
No. What was it?
Croxa?
Maybe? Was it Guys Weekend? Yeah, it was right after.
Same time.
We went up for Guys Weekend, and then COVID hit, and then yeah. So yeah, this is my first deck. I built Bruvac, the Grandolescent. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
You making me look? Now I can't see you.
Grandiloquent?
Delinquent? Grandiloquent.
Yep. So kind of cheating with this one because I don't own them. I got Jumpstart cards, but I didn't get them. But yeah, so I got some Jumpstart stuff. Didn't pull really any of the high-priced new cards, but I did get a lot of reprints that are worth quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to kind of talk about Double Masters because more spoilers happen today since we're a day later than normal. This is all if we have enough time.
All right. Sorry. Grandiloquent is pompous or extravagant in language, style, or manner, especially in a way that is intended to impress. Grandiloquent.
Thanks for that dictionary definition.
I had to look it up. It's like, that's a made-up ass word. It was not.
But yeah, so we're gonna go through the spotlight deck, and then we'll see on timing wise what we'll have there. Because yeah, last week's episode was 40 minutes of an episode, and then 40 minutes of us just bullshitting. What are you doing with your fingers?
You got at least one compliment on it. So, thank you, number two.
Hey, number two.
There you go. Okay, so a couple things. Well, one, I kind of got to tell you a story before we actually get into our stuff.
How have you been since you have not been around?
Well, okay, so I have to give you a little backstory. The last week's episode, we're up in Cook County and there's like no freaking service where we're at. So I had to go to a McDonald's to upload the episode to Podbean, and that's but
server.
You can't sit inside at McDonald's. So I'm like, all right, Cindy.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. I brought my computer in.
You just had to order something, right?
Yeah. No. I brought my computer in and we're standing there and I'm like, everything's blocked off. Crap. What do we do? So I was like, all right, Cindy, you're going to sit in the driver's seat and I'll upload we'll sit close enough to McDonald's that we get the Wi-Fi. Like, okay. So we order our food. We start walking out to the car and we're walking up to the passenger side. And I go and I I grab the door and I just see her face. Like her face is just all lit up, like super big smile. Like, oh my gosh, she's opening the door for me. And I open it and she starts. I'm like, I'm not opening the door for you. You go open your own fucking door. And you just see her heart break. And she's just like, oh, it's like, remember, I'm working on the podcast. And she's just like, what a dick. And she's like, I thought because you hung out with Trombley that it was starting to wear off on you because Trombley opens the door for his wife.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's very nice of him.
Yeah, that is very nice. Aw.
Very nice. Aw.
I don't have an
Do we have a button like that? No.
I think we do, but I don't have it uploaded. The only thing I have is applause.
Good enough.
Yeah. Good job, Trombley.
What a gentleman.
Yeah. So that's story number 1. Cindy wanted to make sure that I told that story to show how much of a dick I am. And I was like, mental note, to make Cindy happy, open up car door.
if I'm ever in trouble.
Fight. Yeah, exactly.
Here, honey, let me get that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're pissed at me? Let's go for a drive somewhere. Here, I'll open the door for you.
You could, if she's mad at you and you're in the middle of the night, you just go open the door and be like, it's for you. Like, I'm trying to sleep. Oh, I thought this made you happy. Yeah. Shut it.
Well, that was the running joke for the week. It was, you go open your own fucking door. Like anything when it was like, hey, can you get me a drink? I'm like, open your own fucking door. Story number 2 is, so again, we get to the boat landing because my stepmom's cabin's on an island and we have no service. So we're trying to text my dad and like, it's spotty. It was jumping in and out. Like maybe a bar would come on and both Cindy and I are texting. So we're there for like 10 minutes and we unloaded all our stuff and it's just sitting there. And like I said, or I was talking before the cast with you, Zeke's still potty training. He's got pooping down, but when he says he has to poop, you have like a 2-minute window that and sometimes it's less than that. If you don't get him to the shitter, he's going to poop his pants. So he goes, oh, I got to poop. And we're like, oh, this is like in the middle of nowhere boat landing. It's not like one that has an outhouse or anything.
Yeah. Yep.
And Cindy's like, oh, can you hold it? And he's like, yep. And then 10 seconds later, he's grabbing his butt and trying to hold his butt cheeks together. He's like, I can't hold it. So we ran over.
He's being like very literal with it. Like, I'm going to hold it.
So I bring him over because I'm a professional about shitting outside, and I bring him over between 2 cars, and I pull his pants down, and I'm holding his.
And you're a professional.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, and so he's like, "What do I do?" And I was like, "Squat in the air." And mind you, he's 3 years old, and so he's like, "Squat." Who wanted to sit on the ground? I was like, "No, just squat. I'll hold your arms." So I'm holding his arms and he just lets it rip just right there. Not as bad as what mine was. And then he gets done and he goes, oh, I got to pee a little. So then he moves his legs another 6 inches wider so he has enough room to pee in front of him.
Nice.
Yeah. So he got it done. And then I did the same trick where I wiped him and then I was like, well, I'm not going to bring this with me. So I'm going to throw it further away into the woods.
Make sure. Can't have anybody see that.
Exactly. They want to see the poop and they're like, hey, yeah, it's a dog poop.
I got a poop story a little bit.
All right.
So I was holding baby girl during lunch. Kind of smelled, but she kind of was farty all day, so I didn't
like her dad.
Didn't do anything about it. And so I hand her off after dinner, and Kirsten's like, "Oh, that's poop. It kind of went through. You better check yourself." And I was like, nah. And so I sit down. I start reading to my son. She goes upstairs, and then you just hear, ah, and she kept on yelling like that for like 5 minutes, and I just read louder and louder and louder.
You just ignored it. I couldn't hear you over my reading. Sorry, honey.
I was, yeah. And little Lowery's like, what's mom doing? I'm like, don't worry about it.
I'm reading.
No, I'm reading. Yeah. He tried to get up. I hold him in. I'm like, we're not going up there.
Danger zone. Did you ever find out then? Or is it just poop everywhere?
Oh, everywhere. Yeah. It was, I think we threw away that onesie.
I think
it went like up to the like collar line somehow.
Oh man. Oh, back explosion ones.
Yeah, it was.
See, man, everybody's going to be turning this episode off. We were having a lot of kid poop stories. Zeke, we never had trouble with that because his poops were always too hard. We had to add right to this day, he drinks milk mixed with, it's not V8 juices and tomato juice. It's V8 like fruit juice and vegetables because the dude only eats peanut butter and jelly. And today we were surprised he ate spaghetti. It's peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
That's all he eats.
Yeah, no, I mix juice in for Lowry's milk as well.
Yeah.
So,
but
it just makes it easier and gets a little bit of.
So Zeke has always had a hard stool so that it never shot up the back. We had plenty of those with Drake.
Always, even like as a newborn?
We never had to shoot up the back with Zeke. We had a lot of those with Drake. None with Zeke because it was pretty much. Not as a newborn. Of course, you have the mustard poops when they're brand new, baby. But
I mean, we're still in that. She's
not having
now.
Well, she's not having the mustard poops. Those are gone after like a month.
Yeah, those are gone. But I mean, it's still less milk makes it soft. It's not.
And that's the difference too. Is that
for a while
ours was formula from the beginning, just because Mama can produce the milk. Only for daddy. No, I'm just kidding.
Competition. All right.
Saving those for my Oreos.
I would not do that.
Here's a question. I don't know if you want to answer on the air. Have you ever tasted it?
I don't think so. I might have tried it for my son just to like, what's this like? And then
is this something I'm gonna like?
No, I don't think that was what I was wondering. Pretty sure I was just like, I'm a curious guy. What's the weirdest food you've ever eaten? Like ordered?
Me?
Or made? Yeah.
You know me. I'm very picky. I don't like mashed potatoes.
I do. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Probably one of the crazier things I've ordered is like a cricket tacos, grasshopper tacos. Yeah.
Controversial questions.
But so I'm more than willing to try things that I don't think I'm gonna like.
Seriously, I can't think of. I mean, I can't think of anything weird.
Put
me,
some
I guess
cinnamon in your peanut butter jelly sandwich.
I guess here I got one that I was tricked into. It wasn't like but Cindy's dad, my wife's dad, he used to do this a lot more. They used to do like game meals where it'd be the guys would come over and they'd cook like squirrel and freaking beaver tail or something. That's like cool. That.
I'd definitely try all that.
But then he's like, yeah, we made these meatballs and because I wouldn't eat any of that stuff. So he's like, well, he wanted me to come hang out and have drinks and whatever. He's like, well, we made meatballs. Here's regular meatballs so that you have something to eat. So I ate a couple of them and I was like, they're okay. They taste a little weird. And it was moose meatballs.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then after I found out it was moose, I was like, nope, no.
Are you kidding me?
It's a brain thing.
I thought you were going to tell me that they were Rocky Mountain oysters.
Oh, we tricked Nick into my brother into doing that because they fried them up, and we were in Colorado, and we had him order that, and he ate them all, and then we told him they were bulls balls.
Yeah,
buffalo balls.
How did he do?
He ate it all.
I don't know if. I think they're bull balls.
Is it bull balls? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I, for some reason, was thinking it was buffalo balls. Number 2, please correct us. You're the expert on balls.
Sure. I have no idea where that came from.
So I've heard. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Number 2. All right.
So a doctor that gives physicals or anything.
We're 15. You can tell we haven't seen each other or talked to each other for a couple of weeks because we're 15 minutes in and haven't even talked about magic at all.
Let's do this.
Let's get our tags in really quick.
I looked up grandiloquent.
Well, let's do our tags really quick. How about that?
Go for it.
Well, we have so the way you can what is it? Support the show. That's what it is. You guys can go to Patreon, and that's where you can donate. $1 gets you into the Discord. You get proxies of the week. Speaking of, this is pick your proxy month. So if you get in this month, you can pick any from the proxy of the week hashtag on Twitter, and also I'll send out a list later. We did get 2 new patrons, Timothy Johnson. Woo! And we actually got Paul Goodwin back. So he was gone I think he was only gone for a month or 2, and then he's back again. But the free way to support the show is you can jump on YouTube, just subscribe there. Then we have Twitter. That's where you can find out that this episode is a day late, or if any other news is happening. And then Gmail, you guys can shoot us any emails you want there. I do have to give one shout out to Mr. AJ for recommending, was it turmeric and tart cherry pills? Because I had a wicked case, I still have it, of gout from being at the cabin all week and drinking lots and lots of beer every day, pretty much. No, I shouldn't say every day was lots of beer. It was just continuous beer drinking throughout the week. And I woke up and my toe was hurting like a biatch. And then AJ actually sent the picture. He's like, hey, this is what I take. And dude, that cleared it up within 4 hours. Now I have to sidetrack. I didn't take it yesterday, and then we were having some, what is it? I might have a brain fart to know what we were drinking. It's the ones that are drinking a copper cup. I've been having those. Oh,
Moscow Mules.
Yeah, Moscow Mules. I had a couple of those last night. We were building our closets and stuff. And woke up this morning and it hurt so bad that nothing touched it until about midday. So, needless to say, I'm drinking apple juice. What are you drinking, Lowery?
I am drinking a weird ass drink. It is called Slice of Paradise Key Lime Pie Smoothie Sour. This is from Prize Brewing. I had the Royal Raspberry of theirs a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I like that company. Sounds like interesting. And it is just a weird flavor profile for sure.
That's what I'm missing is your random different kinds of beers. That's one of the big things I'm missing.
No, I definitely wish you were here for this one so I could give it away. So it's not bad. It's just weird. Like, I don't want the fourth one. Like, it kind of gives me a little bit of like a tummy ache. It's like a weird sweet sour. It's almost like they went overboard on, because they have this like weird, you see that like flavor profile, that little like kite looking thing there?
Kind of.
Yeah, and it's like vanilla's way over, and I think they're trying to compensate for getting like the pie crust flavor in there, and it just really overpowers the whole thing along with a weird sour. I don't suggest this one. It's really weird. Or maybe it's for the whipped cream flavor or whatever, but I'm not a fan.
Sweet. So you have 3 more to drink?
I have one more. I'll probably save it for next week when my brother works with me, and I'll just hand it off to him.
Be like, here you
try this.
Yeah. All right. Should we actually get to the episode?
A spotlight deck.
So what do we got here? I guess that's me.
Very good. What do we got here? You made Bruvac the Grandiloquent.
So this was an interesting deck. So what Bruvac is he's 2 colors and a blue. So just mono blue deck here. 1/4. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they would mill twice that many cards instead. So the hard part, and I kind of discussed this with Lara, and I might have even mentioned on the cast before when I was talking about the deck, is it's difficult to mill everybody and not get people pissed to kill you. So, because you're dealing with a lot more, like to kill somebody, I'm dealing with their deck and not life. Life is a lot less, there's 40 life per person. People are hitting each other. Milling, it's a lot more difficult. So I had to
deal with, not necessarily 300 cards, but
you're
way more than 120 life.
Right. You're at least, let's say this, you're at least dealing with double, if not 2.5 times more. Is that equal, right? 120, 240.
I'll let you do your math. I'm not.
Well, no, that's probably
Whatever.
240, probably double, because you don't count your own deck. You're counting 3 other people.
Yeah,
If
it's
you're-
not 400,
Yeah.
but it's not 300 because they draw their hands, draw a card,
Yeah.
stuff
So
like that.
So the other hard part about this is like the commander, how it's built. It is only allowing to double mill other people. So milling yourself is kind of not the way you want to go with this. I did name the deck Mill Me or Many with a question mark. And really, I tried to focus more on the Mill Many. And the idea is more of to hinder people from wanting to attack me or kill me. So I have how many did I get here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different things that are going to make people not wanting, hinder people from attacking me. So do you have questions you want to start with at all, or?
See, I was worried about this because you're a lot better interviewer than me. Because all I want to do is go like, why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? And so I'll save that for the end. So what I noticed is really you just kind of went counterspell, mill tribal. That's how I feel like
Yeah, right. Counterspell.
you got thought collapse.
I got 3 counterspells.
You have didn't say please, which mill, counterspell, mills, top 3.
Yep. I didn't grab theirs. Actually, like 4 or 5. There's also thought collapse, but then you have sublime epiphany.
But that doesn't like mill, so I don't
No, that one I was.
You got 2.
What I like about it is that it has the protection in it, but making another token of something else that mills, because you're making a token of a copy target creature you control.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
And then I'm also getting a draw off of it and bounce somebody's, and then potentially I'm countering a spell. So I have 3 counter spells. It was tough to do.
How dirty do you feel?
Not bad. Because I don't have a lot of other protection, which really sucks. So I don't know how the other protection I added in here, which is still on the fence if I'm going to cut it or not, is Rain Academy Chancellor, which that one is. Or
it's interesting.
Well, because I'm wanting to draw cards with this deck because there is a lot of enchantments that I have that when I draw a card, it does something to other players, milling other players. So this one is kind of potentially on the cutting board, but I only have 17 creatures in this deck. So I'm really lacking creatures. But what it does is
you're not attacking either. And that's one card that I had a question about, which we'll get to at the end. But
yeah, so this one is whenever you or a permanent you control is the target of a spell or ability controlled by one of your opponents, you may draw a card. If she's enchanted, you can draw 2 cards. But this was more to hinder other people from destroying my stuff. It's almost like a protection. And if they do destroy it, then I get to draw a card from it. And most likely they're not going to be like, oh, I want to kill her. They're going to kill your other things. So you're always going to keep drawing cards from the other stuff that they're destroying.
Yeah. And I mean that I think this card is pretty meta dependent though too. Like if people are playing a lot of wraths, then it it's not very good. Right. But if they're picking off your stuff,
and I think that's what I'm worried about with this is what ended up started happening is this turned into a really heavily artifact based deck.
I did notice that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have a lot of things that could get picked off where it's going to be targeted that way, most likely,
Sure, absolutely.
So that's what I was like,
because that was going to be my next thing. It's you kind of got Staxy in this deck with like Static Orb, Storage Matrix, Ward of Bones.
Yep.
Those are real pain in the ass cards that will get a table going. All right, let's fight.
Well, that's what
fuck this guy, but that's kind of weird. I never say that.
Well, that's the thing. So those are my that's my side theme is hindering people instead of just because really if I was a normal player with this, you just stack it up with counter spells. You get your spells and counter spells because I'm mono blue, and that's the way you should probably play this deck. But I don't like using counter spells. I want people to play. So instead, I hinder people from other ways. So you add back to the basics in there. And like you were saying, the static orb, storage matrix, which is, I didn't even know about. I have to get that card because I didn't even know about that one. That one's pretty sweet because it's, as long as it's an artifact for 3, as long as it's untapped, instead of each player's untapping their permanents during their untap phase, they choose either artifacts, creatures, or lands, and then they can only untap those. So me, I'm not attacking, so I'll have my creatures. I'm basically just going to untap my lands, and then just keep casting spells. Everybody else is going to have to choose which, am I going to keep attacking him or, or am I going to want to play mana? So it's going to it's going to be, and you know what, to be honest with you, I've been wanting to build a dick deck for a long time, but combining all the stuff that are dick cards. And this is my kind of mini dick deck because I'm not killing people.
Mini dick deck.
I'm just.
You mean like a pinky dick deck or what?
No, it's a Smith dick deck.
No, that's a lot bigger than anybody would think.
We just put the illusion out there that it's small so that when you see it, you're like, well, I thought you said you were small, but you're average at best.
It's managing expectations is important.
So yeah, I added a lot of cards that could piss people off and will, but I'm hoping by the point of when they're like, oh shit, this sucks, that it's kind of too late to do much unless you're mass board wiping or bouncing. Did you notice one thing I don't have in here that I always have in a blue deck?
Oh, that's a good question. I had one on my notes, but no, what do I
always have if I'm playing blue and I do not, that you don't like playing with? That's a core card for Commander. It's like one of the top game winners.
Oh, Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah, I did not pop this in here. I should, but I was like, I'm going to try to not play with it.
Probably should.
I'll see how this plays, and then it might pop back in here. But instead, I used Aetherize and Aether Spouts. So I'm just going to kind of deter people from, if they decide to all-out attack me, I'll just bounce those back. But those might get changed.
Well, the thing is, you can do... They don't have to be attacking you with those either. It's just
it could be somebody
creatures.
else. Yeah.
And so if somebody's like really just going to run over the board, you're just like, well, all of them gone. And that's Blue's style of Wrath, along with Cyclonic Rift. So I think those are really good cards to have in there for sure. Going back to the Staxy thing, I was wondering, did you consider a Meek Stone in here?
Oh, did I? No, I didn't actually have Meek Stone as one of my cuts in there. So
which keeps your, the bigger creatures.
Well, I thought about Ensnaring Bridge. Meek Stone might be a good idea though. Might put that.
Yeah, Ensnaring Bridge wouldn't be bad either.
The only problem I was thinking about Ensnaring Bridge is I felt like I might draw too many cards and then it would not work as well,
That could be a good point. But you do have like Silent Arbiter in here and Crawl Space. And so maybe one more.
Yeah, Meek Stone might be a good one. I'm marking that as a possible add. But I don't know about Ensnaring. Ensnaring, I guess I could potentially do that.
Did you get Storage Matrix from the idea? Because you have Urza, High Lord, Artificer in here.
Do you know why I have him in there? He's my Mono Rock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But you know how that works with Storage Matrix, right?
Well, I figured I can tap it and then I don't have to follow suit with Urza's stuff.
Same thing with Static Orb.
Yeah.
And there are a couple other cards that work that way. I think Howling Mind kind of works like that too.
Oh yeah, Howling Mind. Yep, you're right. That does that.
So
same thing.
There are some older artifacts that work that way, which is kind of like a cool thing for Urza.
Yeah.
But you don't have much more that taps artifacts.
So one other card I was thinking about is on the cutting block. It's a good card. I just don't know if I'm going to be attacking, but Sword of Body and Mind. Like, it's really good because you're doing 10, and if you have your guy out, it's 20, but then I have to be attacking, but you're attacking somebody that has green and blue. So that was one I was like, it's perfect for an attacking mill deck, but I don't know if I would do that in this or not. And that kind of
I think just getting in there, along with it being like a bit of protection, like from green and blue, I think it's something because you're not looking for the damage, but 10 consistently really 20 is not a bad thing to do.
Yeah. Let's see. What else did I want to mention? Go ahead.
I really like Mesmeric Orb, almost an anti-mill style deck, self-mill or otherwise.
Yeah, that
Cards
can be
bonkers,
brutal.
because that one, it's anytime somebody untaps a permanent they control, they got a mill a card.
So if I have my guy out, it's 2 cards for everybody else.
Yeah, you're untapping land, untapping creatures that attacks. You can easily, even without Bruvac, you're milling like 8 to 12, late game, and that's 20 per untap. That can be a lot.
Yeah. One cool card I kind of add, what I really like in here, I'm curious to see how it goes, is the Mirrodin Besieged.
You know what? Why is this in here?
Because you know how many artifacts I have? And if I'm discarding just as much as everybody, I'm not discarding as much, but I'm not milling as much as everybody else, but I will be losing a lot of this stuff. It gives me that draw and discard as well. But you can just kill somebody, right? And it's not like at the beginning of the upkeep. I could cast this. I have 15 artifacts in my graveyard there. I say go, that person's dead. You can just ping off people if you have you get this late game. If you get this early game, I can just cast it for the first one and get 1/1 colorless mirror artifacts for blockers if I want, or it gives me another draw. Is it looting? Is the draw and discard?
Draw and discard, yeah.
So that one I actually was pretty excited about because it has a little win con built in. It doesn't win you the game, but it kills a player.
Yeah, it stops somebody. And I do like, drawing a ton of cards is what you want to be doing anyway. And then you have like Sphinx's tutelage and Teferi's tutelage in here.
Yeah.
And that stuff doubles as well. Like
and
Sphinx's tutelage becomes crazy in
Psychic Corrosion does that too.
Yeah.
Psychic Corrosion is brutal. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent puts the top 2 cards, whereas Sphinx's tutelage is you have to pick opponents. Same with
but
Teferi's
that can keep
tutelage.
going because it's if they both non-land cards. So it counts all of the 4 cards.
Correct.
Like if they have 2 of the same color, you repeat it. So that can kind of happen. That becomes really powerful.
What I'm also really excited about is I got 4 Planeswalkers in here.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Each one does a like 2 of them are Jaces and both of them are the plus ability is target player puts 2 cards of their library in the graveyard and then you draw a card. But then Jace Memory Adept, like you're 0 right off the bat. If I have Bruvac out, you can have somebody do 20 cards into their graveyard. So it's kind of brutal. And then I did Teferi Master of Time, so the new Teferi, because I'm like, that is a draw engine right there, because
for sure.
And hitting everybody's
similar
turn.
To the Mirrodin Besieged thing. Like if that's something that you're wanting to do, if you want to do it every turn, heck yeah. So
the other part of it is it's -3 is to get something out of there. It phases out like we had talked about when we broke this down, I can do my turn, draw a card. I say, go to you. You go to attack it. I phase that out. I still have 1 counter on mine. Go to the next person, draw a card, this could be pretty brutal.
The one that I like the most in here, and I think it's a good idea, is Ugin the Ineffable.
Yeah, that was a late ad because of, I didn't even look over that was the thing is I had to build this deck with basically 0 service and none of my binders with me. So I wasn't able to go through my stuff. So this one didn't get added until I went through my binders when I got home. And I'm like, oh, I have so many artifacts. And this is a potential draw. And it's a body. And it's a destroy.
Colorless spells cost 2 less. So it works. Yeah, it just doesn't. Because blue has a trouble destroying per se. You could have Pongify, Rapid Hybridization in there. But like this, it just gets rid of a colored permanent, which is really good. And creating the bodies, which end up drawing you like a central card advantage. I think this does a lot in your deck.
Yeah, that one was a really fun late ad. Another one that I'm kind of excited about doesn't really fit with the theme as much, but you played this recently. But that's what kind of got me to trigger with it was the Mystic Remora. I really like that card. I think it's a good potential draw engine playing that. It has a cumulative upkeep, but people aren't going to pay for their non-creature
you're drawing
spells.
cards.
Yeah.
You're drawing cards for sure.
Yeah. So, was there anything else? I'm trying to think if there was.
Well, it kind of looks like are you going for a little bit of like the zombie mill plan? Undead Alchemist with Stitcher Grolf?
So those were two I did want to touch on. Undead Alchemist is pretty sweet because it's whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from his or her library. So I'm having people discard. I get a 2/2 zombie. So it's giving me more bodies to block with. Not to mention that if I deal damage with zombies, you do that as well, but that's not really what I'm looking for. It's more of I'm getting bodies from and exiling their graveyard. So it kills off decks that are like your deck. What's his name? They can play from your graveyard one type of each spell. Muldrotha. There's a lot of decks that do that. So kind of eliminates that, and then Stitcher can give you a huge big body, and by everybody topping, if you have your commander out, 6 cards. So that could be brutal with that as well. What I was trying to do was trying to hit multiples at once. There's a lot of pretty brutal spells where it's targeting one player. And that's the thing I think that ends up getting in trouble with these type of mill decks is you have to target one person. And you start pissing off that person, and they're realizing they're going to die by mill, so they start just hammering you down. They might not kill you, but they get you low enough that the others, once you've milled that person, you go to the next, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I swing with one thing, and you're dead. So this I was just trying to slowly take down the whole board at once, and then have those spells like Traumatize, where I can kill one person right there.
Yeah, you got the big hitters of Traumatize, Fleet Swallower, and Keening Stone, really.
Yeah. But
I like those 3.
The thing that worries me about Fleet Swallower is that people are going to see it coming, and that's the hard. And I don't have haste enablers in here. I didn't add any of the.
That was what I was going to ask. It's strange not to see a list without Swiftfoot Boots or Lightning Greaves.
Because I'm not attacking, and I know it's protection.
That protection thing.
That's where I went with the counter spells with discarding, So, I mean, I guess that could be something I look at if I don't like the counter spell aspect to it, But the counter spells fit in there because it was milling them at the same time, and I was hoping that would protect my stuff, a little bit better.
I think it's on theme, so...
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know how much, and that's one thing why I was adding that other dude in there, because it's like protection for my whole board, and if you want to ping him off, I can draw a card for it. So it's kind of a win for me. Well, one other thing that was kind of a dick card is the Lawan Cephid Empress.
Cephalid. Yeah.
Cephalid.
Yeah, it's a sweet card.
Yeah. I think you've talked about that card before, haven't you?
Yeah. Yep. I've used it. I have it in a current deck, my Rafik deck. That might come apart. But yeah, the card shuts down other blue decks for sure. So I don't know how it necessarily works in here other than potentially shutting one player down or halfway.
Yeah. And that's maybe one of the things I got to look at is if it really just starts only targeting one person, but at least that person is kind of out of the mix and I don't have to focus on them. It's like, all right, that player I don't have to worry about. And that's kind of why I went with the hindering people. It wasn't like to pick on, it's kind of to hinder everybody at once, except for me, hopefully.
So a question card that I have is Mind Crank. Are you, because you're saying, and from what I was seeing is like, you're not really going to be attacking.
So I was hoping other people,
other people are doing it.
Yeah.
All right.
Because you get this out early. If you get this out early enough, if it's early or mid game, maybe you get it out early. People are doing the work for you because they're not at that point. They're not like, oh, you're a mill deck. Let's kill him first. And then we go do damage other places. Everybody's still playing their games. Everybody has their decks. So people are always going to be dealing damage. So I was hoping that other players would help me. If somebody swings 10 at somebody, that's doing 20 cards for me, you know?
That's also true.
And then I did go with what one of the things that you had talked about on your last deck, I believe.
I saw you copying me there.
I was like, well, because it's a really good idea, because then I have 27. I did all snow covereds, and then
extra planar lens is what we're talking about.
Yeah, so you just name snow covered. But you know what's funny about that? Oh, you say snow covered island. But my other decks are pretty much all snow covered that I play with, so that could work if you
kind of go around. But I mean, it works with your iceberg Cancrix, which is a crab that mills 2 whenever
and see that's
permanent comes into play.
That's one. If I didn't only have 17 creatures, I may drop him, because you're milling 2 and it's only snow permanent, so I only have 27 other ones that it could potentially do, and you have to pick one player, you know. So I was telling you, I want to do the mass milling, so I'm not sure if I want that guy to stay in or not. What are your thoughts on?
I saw that.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, what are your thoughts on the ice crab?
I mean, if you're going with snow permanents, I don't have a problem with it, but it feels like one card that I felt was kind of missing with the snow idea was Merit Lage's Slumber.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Jawbreaker had mentioned that card just recently. It was like, this card's
we were talking about specking on it.
Yeah, and I saw that and I was like, oh, I've already got my list down. I don't want to add that one.
Because that's a cheap scry, consistent, just another snow permanent.
And then it could be a 2020.
Cancrix. Yeah, and then it can be a potential game ender.
Yeah.
Later on, if the mill plan doesn't seem to work for a player or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea with that one.
And then I was seeing that you weren't running any fetches.
Nope.
And you do have 2 cards with a landfall in here. Technically 3 with the Iceberg Cancrix, but Hedron Crab and your Royal Elemental.
Yeah, all of those I'm like, if I didn't have a lack of creatures, would probably not be in here. But yeah, you're right. With fetching, it would help a lot more with that. But the problem was, back to the basics could ruin me with that. No, I guess not with that, because it's untapped. Because the non-basic lands don't untap.
It's not Blood Moon.
Yeah. It's almost worse, because making it so they don't untap anymore is kind of brutal.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
And then one other card that I just kind of started using, I put it in Calamax, and people don't like me for it, but it has the Helm of the Host Spark Double effect, which is Sakashima.
I don't think I know that one.
So what it
How do you spell
comes
that
into play,
one?
and then
Sakashima?
it's a clone of whatever. Yeah, SAK.
Okay, found it.
ASHIMA. That's the legend, and then you can pay like 4 to return it back to your hand.
Copy a creature, except its name is still okay. I did see that in the original search, but I didn't put that one in. I don't own that one.
So that's I have one, and I think it just got printed in mystery boosters.
Yeah.
So the price has gone down dramatically.
So it is $7 there.
I think it was like $15-$20 before that. But it seems like it's a really nice Spark Double add. Like if you're doing one, maybe the other. And it might save you on CMC with the Helm of the Host. I think for me, if you have blue, Sakashima and Spark Double take that place. And then if you're not in blue, Helm of the Host, I think, takes over.
Well, you could almost add
theory,
the consistency.
You could do all 3,
yeah, I was going to say, you could add consistency by adding 3. That's not a bad add there either.
So those were the thoughts, the quick hits I had 10 minutes before I looked at. We started this.
Let's see. I think that's all I had for my notes of stuff. You mentioned War to Bones, which,
Bill from Woodbury.
Yeah, I was going to say,
with that.
that's I was going to give him a shout out for that. I was like, Bill from Woodbury, I had that card because I think you spec'd on, said War to Bones was a good spec, I think is what it was, wasn't it?
I don't own
at some
one.
point.
so it probably wasn't me.
Oh, then maybe it was Fast Finance. I know. I thought for sure it was you at some point, but I picked up like 4 or 5 foils of those, and then they jumped up or whatever. And then I saw Bill play with it, and I was like, that sucked.
That made it really tough.
Yeah, if you don't know War to Bones, we're saying it, but what it is it's 6 to come out, so it's a really hefty artifact. But it says each opponent who controls more creatures than you can't play creature cards. The same is true for artifacts, enchantments, and lands. So if you're light on 1, which mine will be creatures, you can pretty much hinder some tables if you're only playing 1 creature out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was it for my stuff on there. I've kind of goldfished it on Tapped Out. I played it a few, and it seems like it works pretty well. I think the nice thing is it's not going to hit people right away. It's more of a setup. So you're just setting up your pieces to make it so people aren't attacking you. You're getting your mono rocks out, and then things start to go kind of out of control. Oh, Larry's on beer number 2.
I thought I hit it. I was trying to keep away from the mic.
So yeah, that'll do it for Spotlight, unless there's anything else. My Day of Dragons, I guess I never really went through Day of Dragons, but the one, I mean, you're milling somebody. So the Day of Dragons is really Traumatize, like Lowery had mentioned. Actually, you're the one that mentioned it as a spec, and it was a good spec because I sold it. But Fleet Swallower, because those can kill somebody in 1 turn if you have your commander out. But then also
half the library goes into the graveyard.
Yeah.
Bruvac makes the other half go in. So if you're even, they're out of cards. If you're odd, you have 1. There's going to be 1 card left.
Yeah. And then Mirrodin Besiege is kind of a side. You could you could have that
side win piece.
Yeah.
It feels a little thin because you had like 25, 26 artifacts. Like it says 21, then you got some creatures that are, and I'm not going to count those, but yeah, 21 official artifacts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely enough to use Urza for sure.
Yeah, you're about right. I think it's about 26.
So, but you would need, like 2/3 of your artifacts in the graveyard.
Yeah.
To start knocking people off.
Yeah, I guess my thought with that card was if I got it early, it depended on how my hand was. Maybe I'm drawing and discarding if I have junk in my hand. Otherwise, it's hitting the first one where I'm getting creatures, so I'm getting blockers. And then if I get it late game, more of, hey, did I already discard a whole bunch of stuff? Do I already have 15 in there for some reason? Because I didn't put, Lab Maniac. I didn't put the stuff but there is that little Jace Wielder of Mysteries in there. So if I do end up decking myself, I do have that option to potentially win that way.
Yeah, I think once you kind of play this through and you see how the deck works, like in a game or two, you might end up going like, there's just not enough support.
I think
where like
you're kind of right with that because of the just like I said, the gold fishing of it. I'd only play like 5 or 6 turns, but I was only having like a couple cards in my graveyard. It was nowhere near because this is, like I said, it's more to mill everybody else, but I do have a few things that draw a card and discard.
You have a lot of permanence,
right,
as well. So like, even if you're casting spells, like you had, what was it? You have 5 instants, 4 sorceries.
Yeah.
Like if you were windfalling a ton, that would make more sense. Like you can traumatize yourself.
Yeah.
You can increasing confusion. Like you would have to really focus on yourself at the beginning of a game if you wanted to self-mill.
Yeah. And
in this deck,
it just, I don't think I can win that way. I have those options in there, but yeah, I don't.
Yeah. So
this is
like what we were talking about before, like mill is really difficult because nobody's really helping you, right? Like other people when it's attacking, and it's a little bit like poison. Do you feel like?
Yeah, but poison's so much easier. You have half of people's lives. This is like here's a whole bunch more life that I have to try to freaking wipe out. And everybody, you know, it's just
because poison has like Triumph of the Hordes, Blightsteel Colossus. Like those are big things that really do work when it comes to just killing somebody with poison. There really isn't a card like Triumph of the Hordes, and you have to have like 2-3 cards that are similar to a Blightsteel Colossus effect, where you're just like, you need Bruvac and Traumatize to happen, right?
And even then, you go to cast Traumatize, most of the time people are going to kill your Bruvac before that resolves. You know, they're like, oh, you're casting that? Well, I'm not going to die here. I just see that happening. That's why I kind of had the counter spells as my saving for that part where I'm killing a player off and somebody wants to end it. But again, there's 3 counter spells. So
hopefully you have
one of them.
Yeah. I think what you should do is probably add in 10 to 20 more counter spells just to feel the power of it.
Just go complete, not what I would play. Play the deck
maybe even
once.
30. Yeah. Play it once, go, I hate this.
Half and half mill, half counter spells.
Yes. I think that is what
honestly
you want to do.
Doing that would probably be better, you know, but I don't think I could do it. I would hate myself.
A card that I made a 60 card casual around. You remember Dreamborn Muse back in the day?
Yeah.
I wish there were more cards like that other than this, because then you could almost do like a bounce theme, like returning things back to people's hands. Then they got fat hands. And then they mill a bunch that way. But there just isn't enough to really have that work consistently.
Yeah.
So that's a little sad.
Yeah, that's the other part is I had on my list, you know, there's some cards that have taken off because there's a couple different angles you can do with this deck, but the one where it's whenever a player plays a spell, they draw 7 cards. It's whenever an opponent does a spell.
Oh, yeah. 2 blue, 4 colorless. It's from Lorwyn. I think that was in the same deck as Windborn or Dreamborn Muse from my 60 card casual. I don't remember it. But, okay, so that's a theme.
So, well, the thing is yeah, you can get people to draw those cards, but then they're drawing those cards. They find answers, you know, and that just doesn't seem very appealing to me. Forced fruition. That's what it is.
Yeah. There is, what is it? So there's a blue enchantment, Laboratory
Maniac.
No. No.
Well, he's a creature.
It's an enchantment from Urza Saga and reprinted somewhere else, but it only allows everybody to play 1 spell per turn. So if you find yourself only playing 1 spell per turn, that could be an interesting take or add in to slow the game down for people.
What was it called? Laboratory
something.
Brute?
No.
Is the first word laboratory?
Maybe. I don't know.
All right, maybe we just move on from that. But yeah, I guess you're right.
Find it real quick.
Well, I'm looking too, but if it starts with, it doesn't start with laboratory because you got Laboratory Maniac and Laboratory Brute. Maybe it's in the second word. You said it was Urza Saga? Okay, yeah. So it's Arcane Laboratory.
Okay, yeah.
Each player cannot play more than 1 spell each turn. That's not a bad idea. How much is that sucker running?
Cheap.
It's $1.
Cheap. It's cheap.
See, I got a list of cards that after going through it with you, I'm adding stuff. It's cards to cut.
I do this all the time.
Well, and it doesn't mean it's going in. It's just stuff I'll look at to decide if I can add those in. I think one that I really like off of what you suggested is Meekstone is actually pretty good. And then the Shima, whatever, dude.
Shakashima. Yeah. So and I did that. So I went to the Discord and was kind of like, I'm building the Nayeth fight deck. And I was just like, I'm looking for an angle. I want more protection cards in green or red, but red doesn't have shit for that. And got some really good suggestions. And I went I only needed to cut like 3 cards. So I was at like 64 cards before the idea. And after going through cards, going through everything, I gained 20 cards. I'm like, shit. I was so close to a deck.
Oh, you know what? I got to do a side note to all this. So one thing that really helped me on this was doing that blueprint thing, which we can kind of break down next week, potentially.
From like Jay-Z Blueprint or Blueprint 2?
No, we've talked about this similar thing when we talk about like how many lands we should have in a deck and all this stuff. Like, wasn't that what we kind of was similar to what this is?
Yeah. And I think we also, kind of talks about it when we came to deck building.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about our process. We sit down and we talk about, we want certain cards in removal, protection, your game plan, creatures, stuff like that. So I think we're going to get more specific on it.
I think so. I think we can kind of put together a pretty good list of what you should look at when you're building it. So here's what really helped me with this deck. And I built it faster than I've ever built any other deck because I put all the cards. So I put a list of all the cards that could work in this deck. Any of the ideas that I was thinking. Of course, you have a couple others that get added later. For example, Ugin got added later. But for the most part, you get it all on one piece of paper or however you do it. One big list. I mean, this was 120 cards long. No, it wasn't that long. It was 100. Anyways, so then I kind of went and I'm like, how many mono rocks do I want? I want 10. How many removal do I want? I want this amount. How many for if I want to do a side theme, or how many of this, and that? So then I jumped back and I was like, all right, let's start it off. Let's go land first. Let's get those out of the way. Cause then I started putting on tapped out. And I picked out my 37 land because one of them is Maze of Ith. Got my 37 land. Then I jumped over to mono rocks. You always want mono rocks. So I was like, well, I don't have
some type of ramp, and blue is going to be rocks.
Yeah.
You could go high tide if you wanted.
Yeah. That was on the list originally, but I didn't, I cut that one. But I did add for, I got Solemn Simulacrum as one of my things, as my ramp, but kind of picked 10 cards out from there. Then I went into my main theme. I'm like, all right, I want 25 to 35 or is it 25 to 35? No, it was 25 for my main theme. What are the best 25 that I have off of my list? And that it just made it so much easier because I was like, all right, this is number 1. This is number 2. And I just kind of went down the list of like the main stuff I want in there. And so then I got down to it and I was like, I cut those without even knowing I was cutting them. I was more picking the best cards. And because I had it into categories of how many of I wanted of each thing, like removal and mono rocks, it made me narrow that list down a lot faster than I normally would. Because normally I go through it multiple times. I'm like, well, I really like that one. I'll wait till the next time around. Maybe I'll cut it, But so I made this deck in probably 4 or 5 days, where normally it takes me weeks.
Well, I think that's interesting too, because for me, like we're gonna end up discussing it a little bit more, and I'd like to go through my decks and see where I end up. I don't know specifically where I am,
and that's where we'll have kind of like a general number
discussion.
Yeah.
I think we'll try and break that down. I do like the idea. It's just not. It's something that I know that I want, but I don't generally have like a specific thing.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's a little.
It helped
hard
me
to know where I'm at
a lot, because I think a lot of times what ends up happening, especially with my deck building, is I always try to have answers, but sometimes you do a very good job of spot removal. You have enough in there where you're getting rid of stuff. Once I put a number to it and I was like, okay, I want to have this amount in there. I focused on that. I got my spot removal stuff, figured out which stuff I wanted, how, it made me fill my categories of what I should have in a deck to have a good all around deck, And then again, it made me cut cards without knowing I was cutting them. It was more of, I was doing my kickball team and I was choosing the best people. I'm like, you're good. Yeah, this guy, he strikes out. I don't know how you strike out in kickball, but you completely miss. If you completely miss the kickball, then you have some other. You shouldn't be on my team.
You're not going to be. You probably have bow legs from riding a horse too long. And you just can't swing your legs straight.
Oh, but yeah. So I don't know. It felt like it was a lot easier to build this by doing it that way. So
cool. Very cool.
All right.
Yeah, you already did it.
Yeah, I forgot.
Magical news.
So I guess one thing I want to talk about is I did get some Jumpstart stuff.
You bought the packs.
I was trying to get Bruvac, and
no Bruvac.
No Bruvac.
One question I have about Jumpstart is: do you know what pack you're buying, or is that still random?
No, it's still random.
Random.
So then the other part of it is when you open the pack up. Like, it's cool. It has like a little token. And so the front token says like, it has Liliana and it has it's in my podcast room. I'm in my office doing this.
Oh, good for you.
It has like a full art of Liliana, and it actually has the backside is a magic card. So it has the magic card backing. And so it's telling you it's, one's a raised dead deck and but the one that was Liliana was the Liliana Planeswalker from M20 or Core Set 21. And the funny thing is
so there's M21
they're mixed
cards in there?
Yes. That's when it's kind of the crazy thing is the two packs, the very first two packs, one was Liliana, the next one was the white Planeswalker. What's his name? The new one?
Basri.
Yeah. So it was both their pictures.
Okay.
And then I got them and another rare or mythic from Jumpstart. There's all Core Set 21 mixed in with this.
What?
Yeah.
How would they do that?
I don't know.
That's weird.
So
I had thought that you bought both packs, like M21 and Jumpstart.
So, and then the packs that had the Liliana and that Basri Ket came with the M21 special lands. All the other packs that did not have the M21 Planeswalkers had the Jumpstart special land in that spot. Otherwise, you got all Core Set basics, the not special ones. You get what I'm saying? It was like 8 of them.
So they're just all over the fucking place.
Yeah. No, and your rares, your commons and uncommons is a mix between M21 and Jumpstart. And then you get the one card in the front, and one of mine was a Lands Matter, and so of course my rare was it could be different ones, but I got Oracle of Moldiah, so that was one of my better rares. The basics are what I want to sell them, because they're cool. They're different than your normal basics, but they're
just
not,
basic lands.
They're not full art.
You sound like me.
They're not full art.
Just basic lands.
No, they're just not full art.
All they are.
One of them's $6 because it has a dog in it. The dog plains one is $6.50. Then that's not even the most expensive ones.
Yeah, no, the Phyrexian one with Phyrexian.
Well, besides him,
wordage. That one's sweet.
What else? I got the. That's the most expensive. That's $17. Then the next one is it's the plains with the knights. That one's $7.50. I don't know. But I did get. So what did I get for my big race? Oracle Moldiah, Reanimate, Exquisite Blood, Rise of the Dark Realms, Phyrexian Tower. Those are my big hitters.
Yeah, no, you definitely got some good rares there.
So yeah, I think I spent $120 value wise of things that were like $4 or $5 or more. I got up $220, and so I kept a few cards because I didn't have those Planeswalkers. But then I'm gonna sell. I should be able to make all my money back with just the ones that I already had. So I don't know. It's interesting. It seems cool. I think number 2 also said it that it'd be cool to take 2 of those, mix it together, and play with somebody. That
actually
doesn't
do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, but
type thing. Yeah.
It's not Commander. It doesn't seem like it'd be that fun.
Well, I think that, in-person play is really tough. Getting your hands on this product seems to be maybe kind of hard.
Yeah. Well,
it does sound like this is going to be printed over a long period of time.
Is it? Okay, I didn't
So,
hear if that was or not.
That's my understanding is like it's not just like a wave or two. I think it's going to be more similar to like mystery boosters coming out a bunch
Okay. In waves.
over a period of time. Yeah.
Oh, really? One more thing. I did not get my Godzilla lands like everybody else. The rest of the world got theirs today because my zip code is still from the first two secret layers. I was living, on the camper at Cindy's parents' house. For some reason, when I did the new secret layers, I put in my address here. I think it auto-filled with their zip code, which it shouldn't because it's Elk River and not St. Cloud, completely different zip codes. Mm-hmm. I noticed it when they sent me the thing saying, your order's almost done. It's going to be shipped soon. And it showed my address with the wrong zip code. So I contacted them right away. I was like, that's the wrong zip code. Can you change that before whatever? And like, nope, too late. It's already gone through the process. And then I got a notification the next day. It got shipped. And they're like, well, what you can do is hopefully they figure it out. If they don't, it's going to come back to us. Then you're going to have to file a claim. And then we're going to have to start the process all over again. I was just like, God damn it. And in the meantime, they sent another thing for... Oh, no, they didn't send it. I went ahead and I was like, hey, I also bought the summer drops. Can you change the zip code on that? Because I see that it's wrong there. They were able to change that. So meanwhile, I'm able to track I saw my Godzilla lands go to Minneapolis, and then I saw them go to St. Cloud, and then back to Minneapolis, and now they're gone from Minneapolis. I don't know where they are. They're not at my house.
Not there. No, that stinks.
All right. What the last thing? What else got kind of spoiled today?
Some double masters.
Woo! What do you think?
Cards look cool.
What do you think about that Karn? That was the buzz
Karn
of the
looks
town.
Weird.
Yeah, it does look really weird.
It's not my style.
No.
Like I saw somebody go like players asking for older art on newer cards. Wizards gives us older art on style on new card, and everybody complains. And it's just like they gave us the bad kind of art that I don't think people liked.
Yeah, there was a lot of
I did see somebody on Discord say that they like that, and I'm glad that you like it. It has to be for someone, you hope.
The only thing I think is cool is that the Urza's lands and Karn fit together as one big picture. That's the Karn just looks so weird.
Yeah, the lands look fine. It's all on the same style, but for some reason he looks like should probably look, but
he looks like somebody stuck something up the backside, and he was not expecting that at all. He's just like,
he looks like it's like a confused surprise.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if I like this or not.
What's going on? He's telling, I don't know.
Yeah. But the other full art stuff, there's we got Sword of War and Peace. I like that new
alt art.
Yeah, that looks really sweet.
Through a pillar.
I'm not sure if I like the Worm Coil engine art.
Alt art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It more looks like a leech thing. I don't know. It doesn't look like...
It does look like a leech.
Like Worm Coil engine just looks like it has tons of mouth pieces. This has like the symmetrical corners to it. I don't think I like it as much.
And there's hooks. Yeah. That's kind of, I guess, cool.
Exploration full art looks pretty sweet.
Yes, that one looks awesome. For sure.
Then we got Jace again, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but that alt art, they just went borderless on that.
That's all they did there. They're giving. We're thinking, right? They're doing the basics from Unhinged, or
I believe it's Unhinged. So that's the promo lands.
So I think that's going to be in the really expensive packs.
Yeah, the VIPs.
Expedition map. I think that art looks really cool. And then
are you okay with that being a box topper?
Yeah, I saw people argue it, and Pleasant Kenobi had a good point with it. This is still going to be a $40 card. I mean,
yeah,
people use it. It looks really nice. Even if it is a common, uncommon, whatever, it's a used card in a lot of formats, including ours. It's actually a pretty good card for that. I'm not upset with that. It's the same thing as when we had Ultimate Masters. We didn't have all of them were rare or mythic.
No.
Because we had, what was it? Eternal Witness was one.
Kitchen Finks. I just kind of looked through that today too. Yeah, Kitchen Finks. That might have been the only uncommon. No commons.
Yeah.
But this one there's going to be 8. So right now we know there's 3 Tron lands and Expedition Map for commons and uncommons that are bumped up for the box topper. Then you got 4 more coming that we don't know yet.
Yeah. So,
assuming that they're highly used cards, which would be, at least good for those formats wherever they're going to be used.
Maybe a Soul Ring, another Soul Ring art.
I mean, that could be cool.
Yeah.
But like right now, I'm not like, there's some cool rares. Like I'm fine with it. And then there are some others where I'm just like, I don't really want to open that up in a $16 pack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like at all.
Are you talking about the Sphinx as one? I don't know if I'd want to get Lux Cannon.
Thought Reflection is a 25-cent rare.
Terastodon.
Champion of Lambhold is good, but that's a cheap card.
Yeah.
So not a whole ton yet. Like I don't
Thought
want
Reflection.
to complain too much. Yeah, Thought Reflection is not a good card.
Grim Lavamancer, Champion of, is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grim Lavamancer, I don't, it has at least a history with it. Like it used to be a $10+ card.
Yeah, but they've printed that. I think even Saffron Olive just said they just printed this in Jumpstart, wasn't it?
Did they?
I mean, I can check. I think I actually got one. No, yeah, I did. I got one of those in my Jumpstart. So they just printed it in Jumpstart.
I'm a huge fan that they bumped up Baleful Strix's rarity to rare.
Oh, I didn't notice that, did they?
Yeah, and then they left Magus of the Abyss at rare. Like that's something that could have went down to uncommon.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know.
We'll see about
Sun
this.
Forger's sweet, but that's again not something I want to
open.
That's a problem. Like the Mythics look sweet. They're probably going to hit it out of the park with Mythics. But if you're buying a $300 box and you get 3 Mythics, that's just not going to do it for me, right?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe, well, because you're getting two rares per pack, right?
Yeah, but one thing you gotta,
maybe it's different.
Maybe you gotta also this is up in the air. This is just speculation, but the unlands, now you're getting those as a borderless unland and potentially in foil. Those could be pretty brutal, don't you think, for money wise? There you go, basics again.
I think those are promos, so I think those are going to be in the VIP packs.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or you're more saying the whole box
in a normal.
No, what I'm saying is if you do the
box, if you're doing a VIP pack, that's a bit different because I mean my opinion doesn't matter on that. I'm not spending $100 on a pack. I'm just not going to. And I'm sure the value's there for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just not willing to.
I'm waiting to see what else comes out in this because, like you said, the hits and misses. If you spend $100 in the pack and you get shit, if you get a bad pack, man, that's some hurts right there.
Feel bads right there. So really, like what we've talked about in the past is like buy a box, and then it's 4 packs per box.
Yeah,
and you're spending $400. I think somebody, Jaw on the Discord, got it for like 260.
Jawbreaker,
360.
Yeah. That's what they're going for about right now. Is they're going for 85 bucks.
It's just not my. It's definitely gambling.
Yeah,
and I mean at this point, like I have a pretty good collection. I think I'm pretty consistent on like not needing to pimp. I have most of the cards that they've put out. I don't think there's a single card where I'm like, I need to get that now.
I want the unstable, unhinged lands in
And I
foil. You have those.
Yeah, I have some. I have 4 islands, 4 swamps, 4 mountains, maybe a forest or 2, no plains.
Oh, good for you.
That wasn't necessary.
I wasn't sure if you heard it. I was like, oh, dang it, you can't hear it. You just kept a blank face.
I do like exploration because I do like that exploration for the alt art one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, that does something for me.
Mm.
And then I did years ago when it was reprinted in Conspiracy, it dropped in price, and that's when I got my first one. I got mine. They altered it, so they extended the art, the borders, and everything. I think I traded them like for Gorilla Shamans.
Oh, really?
No, that's not the right card.
The
the
red,
one where you discard it and you get a red mountain or red mana. So I traded 4 of those for that. And I was like, fuck yeah. That's sweet.
So you have one that's like an alt art one?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Somebody did that. And so I'm just like, well, that's kind of pretty unique for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a Conspiracy version as well. So I like the card.
That's pretty sweet.
But I got something a little more customed.
They also have your it's not on Goldfish's page, but on their box, didn't they have what's her name? The artifact.
Oh, Brea.
Yeah,
Brea was on there.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet if they have an alt art on that. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna be alt art. Well, maybe. Well, yeah. Because they could have the original on the box and then a different art. Yeah, because they did that with Karn and everything. Yeah. So this will be interesting. I'm excited to see what this week brings because I think we're gonna get. Do you think all of them by the end of the week? Probably. So
I don't know.
By next week,
they just want to do just like a fucking barf it out that quick. Maybe.
Well, I mean, we have what's next. I think there's another.
Zendikar.
Yeah, but there's another. Like Commander Legends is coming out in September, I think, or something like that.
What? No, I thought that was like December.
There's the green one that I keep getting mixed up with Legends. I think the.
Oh no, that actually got pushed to December as well.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I think there was an announcement. So it's just the green spell book with like 15.
Yeah, but they weren't saying it was. It's not going to be a spell book. I didn't think.
Well, it's the same concept, just in green instead of attached to a planeswalker.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, they got to have something coming up here. This can't be because Double Masters comes out when. I guess I could type in Google Double Masters release date.
No, I just did it. August 7th.
Oh, so that's not that far away. We're looking at basically 2.5 weeks from now.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
So probably will be by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Fully released. So Zendikar Rising comes out in September 2020.
Oh, geez. Okay, so we have 1 month after this comes out, and then we have Zendikar.
Yeah. Yep. And then I don't have the subsets.
Kind of interesting. They slowed down and haven't done a Secret Lair release. You know, they were really pounding those out. Now they've kind of just stopped.
God, there's so much fucking product that they put out. It's crazy. So we got Double Masters August 7th. We have Zendikar Rising in September. November, December, I'm sure they're going to pack full of stuff. And then Commander Legends is December of 2020. And I think the green spellbook thingy is also in December 2020. I think that got pushed.
Okay.
So that was probably going to be one of those months. And then they just pushed it, probably because of COVID printing problems.
Yeah. Everything else kind of got moved around.
And I think that's everything that we know of. God, October, November is going to be nice.
Nothing until they go, until they're like, hey, here's Secret Lair this, Secret Lair that, Secret Lair Ultimate, Secret Lair Masters.
That's what we need.
All right. Well, we
So
should probably wrap this up, don't you think?
Yeah. I think we're good.
Hour 20. Yeah, we did pretty good.
We cut that last like 3 minutes where I was like, meh.
I didn't cut anything. What are you talking about? All right. So next week, maybe looking at blueprint, building decks, and talking about double masters, probably, huh? Maybe trying to figure out if it's worth buying the regular box.
Worth it? Yeah, I mean, if we're doing
buying,
a full-on
yeah,
half-ass set review.
Yeah, we can kind of
I think that's the way to go.
All right. Well, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
Son of a bitch. I hit my clipboard as I was turning.
You can't mess up the cadence. I don't know what to do.
I almost said thanks for listening again. All right. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Sega. I remember how to do that.
Oh, good.